Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutarisham Pradhanasam Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prasthaya Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo Saraswati Gauravana Pracharna Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshataranas Krishna Krishna Prasthaya Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravana Pracharna Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshataranas Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktaranda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktaranda Jai Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तों हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Jai Sasaki, Jai Shri Shri Radha Maharaj, Shri Shri Radha, Jai Shri Jai Shri Shri Radha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Samyukta Mataji. Hare Krishna, Sunil Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. How are you all doing today?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna, Sunil Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
ప్రభుజీ మీ వాయిస్ లోగా ఉంది ప్రభుజీ.
హరే కృష్ణ. ఇప్పుడు ఓకేనా మాతాయి?
ఇప్పుడు అలాగే ఉంది ప్రభుజీ.
ఒక్క నిమిషం మాతాయి. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ షేరింగ్. లెట్ మీ నో. హరే కృష్ణ 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 హరే హరే, హరే రామ 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 హరే హరే. ఇప్పుడు ఓకేనా మాతాయి?
అలాగే ఉంది ప్రభుజీ. నా ఫోన్ ప్రాబ్లం ఏమో ప్రభుజీ, నేను మళ్ళీ లాగౌట్ అవుతాను, మళ్ళీ లీవ్ చేసి జాయిన్ అవుతాను.
లాగిన్ అయ్యండి. ఎస్ మాతాయి. హరే కృష్ణ సునీల్ ప్రభు.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Are you able to hear me clearly? Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure. 1 second. Mataji, mana Samyukta Mataji, now is it okay?
Yes ప్రభుజీ. నా ఫోన్
Ram Reddy Prabhuji unnara Mataji?
ఉన్నారు ప్రభుజీ.
So can you actually, today is Ekadashi, అంటే Baimi Ekadashi. So ఒక 2 rounds చేసి స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం రీడింగ్. సో ఐఎమ్ సెండింగ్ అగైన్ మెసేజ్ టు devotees, whoever can join, then just give me another couple of minutes, then let us start 2 rounds of japa, then we'll start reading. Okay ప్రభుజీ కూడా రమ్మనండి, మన రామరెడ్డి ప్రభుని కూడా రమ్మనండి.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు, దండవత్ ప్రణామ్.
దండవత్ ప్రణామ్ ప్రభుజీ, హౌ ఆర్ యూ?
యా గుడ్ ప్రభు, బాగున్నాను ప్రభు. మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు ప్రభు?
అంత ఓకే ప్రభుజీ, అంత ఓకే. ఏంది ఈరోజు ఏకాదశి కాబట్టి, సో లెట్ us do 2 rounds of japa, then reading ప్రభుజీ. మీరు
కూర్చుంటాను ప్రభు.
మీ స్కెడ్యూల్ sending message one more time.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Sapan Kumar Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. All glory Shri Gurudev. Yeah, Sapan Prabhuji and
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Sapan Prabhu, Sunil Prabhu, and Samyukta Mataji, Ram Reddy Prabhu. So let us do 2 rounds of japa. Today is Ekadashi, so manam 2 rounds chesi read cheddam for good conscience. So let me share my screen, then Yeah. Yeah, let us go through those. Then we start it at 7:05 like that. 16 minutes. Then later we start. Okay. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Rama Rama
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Rama 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 Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Rama Rama
Krishna,
Rama Rama
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Sunil Prabhu, thank you for chanting with us. Samyukta Mataji, Ram Reddy Prabhu, thank you very much for chanting with us. Sapan Kumar Prabhu, thank you very much for joining and chanting with us. So this is one important verse. Let us see and then understand the translation and then move forward our readings with Mangalacharana prayers. One of the beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying one by one. So let us see this verse quickly. So in this verse, chapter 10 talks about all the different things. For example, see, there are few opulences of Krishna. For example, from here, O Janardana, he asking, Arjuna is asking, addressing to Krishna, O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. Krishna's opulences, one by one, Krishna himself is describing. I am never satiated in hearing about you. Who is saying this one? Arjuna is saying, right? I am never satiated. Satiated means I am not getting bored. Ever increasing. I wanted to hear more and more and more. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So all spirituality related activities, it's nectar. It is a nectar actually. So Krishna himself is explaining, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna say a few of my opulences. There are limitless. I have limitless opulences. How can I describe all those? There is no limit. So let us see. I am the super soul, O Arjuna. See, from starting with super soul, I am seated in everyone's heart. And I'm the beginning and middle and end. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of Mardas, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord Wealth. I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire Agni, and of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Bruhaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental home. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So like this, many things Krishna explained here. Why this one, text 25, Yajnanam Japa Yajnasmi. Now we are chanting, right? Chanting is one of the Krishna's opulence, limitless opulence. So with this opulence, Krishna is given to us. Kali Kalena Nama Rupa Krishna Avatara. Krishna appeared in the Kali as a holy name. Holy name. Kali Kalena Nama Rupa Krishna Avatara. And we have repeatedly quoted that verse. Hare Rama Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nasteva Gatiranyata. So Yajnanam Japa Yajnasvi. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. So Japa Yajna, we are doing every day, morning, or we are chanting means we are doing Japa Yajna. Remember that, we have wonderful process. Prabhupada's mercy, we are understanding all the wonderful Vedic literature in a proper way. So let us begin with Mangalacharana prayer and start reading, okay? Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayade girim yatkrupatamaham munde Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Oma Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yasmaret Pundari Kaksham Sabhyabhyantaram Sajihi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. So we are reading from Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. So nice, right? Prabhupada so creatively put the title of this book, Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. What is that matchless? What is the meaning of matchless? Matchless or priceless. There is no price to get it. That means very much valuable. Very much valuable. Priceless, matchless gift. And Prabhupada's, the matchless gift storefront, in New York City, that storefront house, that's where, he started off this matchless gift. The title itself, gift shop, is the matchless gift. Those Krishna consciousness is a priceless, matchless gift for all of us. So that's the thing. Krishna consciousness, the matchless gift. So no price actually, So in this material world, there is a price for everything. When in spirituality, priceless. Only pure devotees' mercy, we get the path of pure devotional service. With their prayers, we are performing bhakti. With their, selfless service, we are doing this activity. With their, unless we unless we recognize the mercy with these, various. There are 4 gurus actually, in our life. There are 4 gurus. We see that. How can we understand that 4 gurus? Patha Pradakshaka Guru. The path we come to the pure devotion service. How we come, how we connected to devotees. That's number 1. We have to understand how. Who bring me for the first time? What is he become instrument actually? 4 instruments. You can understand. Patha Pradakshaka Guru, Siksha Guru. Once we come to the platform of devotion service, we have multiple Siksha Guru who inspires us. And then one Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master. Initiating spiritual master and instructing master. Yeah, initiating spiritual master. One Guru only, Diksha Guru it's called, right? So, and then Chaitya Guru. Paramatma seated in our hearts as a Guru also. Right? Some devotees, they may not come to the platform of, this Guru Shishya Parampara, but due to their, pious activities, due to their punya karma, Krishna himself will guide them to come back to Golok Vrindavana, Vaikuntha planets, back to Godhead. So we have to remember that, this path is glorious, no price. We have to very valuable, we have to take it as a valuable and seriously and sincerely serve the holy name, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Okay. So today we'll read from this chapter. Learning.
Which was the first guru, Prabhu? First?
Pata Padaksha Guru. Pata.
Pada.
Yeah. Pratapadaksha Guru. Prata means
Prata. Okay. Yeah. To show the direction.
You show the direction.
Prata.
Yes. So before we starting, I was referring that, the non-veg thing. Actually, when there was no vegetation, when there was no vegetations, like, fruits, grains, minerals, all these pulses, if in that place, for example, in that place, no vegetation there, nothing available, then there is a option to, kill the animal and eat. That is the one reference I wanted to share. When there was a no vegetation, then there is a, that's where, some ocean, not ocean, some desert kind of areas.
Or ice.
Yeah, in that, see, there is no option to kill the animal, and that's there. So that there is a thing, just to share. Yeah. So we'll continue this fourth chapter, learning tapasya, self-control. You only start, Sunil Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, the 10th chapter, where you actually refer to the holy name, the sacrifice. The sacrifices. What is sacrifice? I am the sacrifice, and what it calls? I am the sacrifice.
Japa.
Of the sacrifices, I am the holy name. Which is Japa. Though I've read 10th chapter, but I was not able to actually relate to this. So thank you for.
Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. Chanting the holy names. Japa means what? Chanting the holy names. So that is the highest yajna, actually. In this kalpa, Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. Japa Yajna, that's Nama Sankirtana. Harinam Sankirtana Yajna ki jai. We will say, right, Prabhu Sunil Prabhu? Harinam Sankirtana Yajna ki jai. It's a yajna. Yes, Prabhu. You can read, Prabhu, this chapter.
Yeah, learning tapasya, self-control. Just take my steps. If one does not come to Krishna consciousness, he may be relieved for the time being from the reactions of sinful activities, but he will again commit transgressions. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj said, Kvachin ne vartate abhadrat kvachik charati tat puna prayaschitam ato apartham. He may be relieved for the time being from the reaction of sinful, but he will again commit. Okay. Repetitive sinning and atoning seem to me like nothing but a waste of time. He gave the example of an elephant, which cleanses his body thoroughly in a lake or reservoir. But as soon as he comes onto shore, he takes dust and throws it all over his body and immediately becomes dirty again. Thus, Parikshit Maharaj said that although one may cleanse himself in the process of atonement, if he again commits the same sinful act, what is the use? Therefore, the second question put by Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadeva Goswami is very important. How can one ultimately become free from all contamination brought about by the material modes of nature? If one cannot achieve liberation, what is the use of atonement? In answer, Sukadeva Goswami said that merely counteracting karma, fruitive activities by other activities cannot bring one's misery to a final end. For example, the United Nations is attempting to establish peace in the world, but they cannot stop war. War breaks out again and again. After the First World War, war statesmen and diplomats manufactured the League of Nations. Then the Second World War came, and now they have devised the United Nations, but war is still going on. The actual goal is to stop war, but that cannot be done. By one action, war is created, and by another action, war is stopped for the time being. But again, at the next opportunity, there is another war. The cycle of sinful activities and atonement is like that. What we actually want is to be free from suffering and war, but that does not happen. So we actually discussed this in our Bhakti Shastri in the nectar of instructions as
Yeah.
well. Like that was the first actually chapter on atonement.
Yeah, atonement. See, that's the example. See, everything is in reference to scripture, Prabhu. See, Parikshit Maharaj saying that Bhadrat Kvachit Charati Tat Puna. See this one. See, Kvachin Nirvartate Bhadrat Kvachit Charati Tat Puna Prayaschittam Ato Partham. Repetitive sinning and atoning seem to me like waste of time. Just like taking example of elephant. So that means somebody is doing good karma, somebody doing good things, and again doing for some bad karma, somebody did something, and they go for temples and atonement, and again they are doing, and again it's a repetitive cycle of sinful activities. So that's not good. That's what it's saying. So that's where when we have to diligently work on our karma, like we have to, what kind of karma am I creating? Is it akarma, vikarma, sakarma? Right? Sakarma, vikarma, both are not good. Because sakarma is good karma. We have to, we are doing good. For example, in some pious activities, did like Annadana, some temples, some performed different demigod worship, for example. You may get good results. But that is not the ultimate thing. Vikarma, we already know it's a very bad karma. It degrades to lower species of life. Whereas akarma, which directs Supreme Lord, Krishna, one-centered point, Krishna-centered, and all of our activities around it. Then there is no question of karma. So that's where we have to always look for, what kind of karma. I mean, when we perform different activities, we just have to watch on it and how I'm doing. That's very important. Otherwise, it's the same thing. Parikshit Maharaj saying this one, Kvachit Puna. Again, repeated, and atonement, something to some simple activities, some bad karma, and then atonement, bad karma, atonement. No, that's not good. And we have one verse, one offense, right? What is that? There is one beautiful, this one, Prabhu. What is that? In 10 offenses, let me share quickly. That's not
There are
good.
10 offenses. Which one are you referring to?
I am referring one thing. Let me share quickly. Beautifully in connection with this. Just a second.
The last one.
No, probably actually. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the thing. So that means on the strength of the holy names, committing and thinking about, holy name is doing the atonement. That's not correct.
Yeah, which Christians do that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you for.
I was hearing a lecture by Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and in that he actually talks about very nice lecture. Actually, he talks about something like that. Bring to Krishna to life, something like that. Okay, the topic or the heading of that. But what he says is that if there is a good karma, so for that also to what do we say, nibhane ke liye, you for the good karma also you have to come back to this world. Okay, and then you have to come back to this world to get the pious activities or say piousness of that karma. And when you come over here, then again there is miseries, and there will be always bad karma or miseries that you will do. So that's the reference that he was giving, that you can choose that, oh, I will do only good karma, right? So for that also you need to come back over here.
Very right.
Yeah.
Share that YouTube link, Prabhu. Tamal Krishna Goswami means Maharaj.
I will share that. I will share.
Here in Dallas, Texas, the temple.
Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, he gave that lecture in Dallas.
The temple community built by that Maharaj only 40 years back.
Very nice, actually. I love loving his lectures. Actually.
Very nice. Please share. Sapan Prabhu, please read. Sapan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami said that one kind of war causes disturbance and another kind of war stops it for some time. But that is not the ultimate solution to the problem. Sukadeva states that these troubles happen due to ignorance. Avidvad, adhikaritvad. Avidvad means lack of knowledge. Avidvad, adhikaritvad, prayaschittam, vimarshanam. Real atonement is performed in knowledge. Why is there fighting and why are there miseries? Unless these why questions, which in the Vedas are called Kena Upanishad, arise in one's mind, one is not fulfilling the proper function of his human life. These questions must arise. Why am I suffering? Where have I come from? What is my constitutional position? Where shall I go after death? Why am I put into a miserable form of life? Why are there birth, death, old age, and disease? How can these questions be solved? Sukadeva Goswami says, Nashnata Patyam Evanam Vyadhyo Vibhavanti Evam Nyamrakat Rajan Sanay Shemaya Kalpate. If one wants to actually stop disease life, he must follow a regulative principle. If a person does not follow the program given by a physician to cure his disease, he cannot be cured. Similarly, if one does not think or act wisely as Vedic knowledge prescribes, how can he stop the problems of life? Simply by atonement, there may be a temporary suppression of difficulties, but they will arise again. Sukadeva Goswami says that.
One second, Prabhuji, I'll share. This is a very important point, actually. We have to refer this. I think it's in the Bhagavatam. So we refer later. Very nice. If one wants to actually stop disease in life, he must follow a regulative principle. If a person does not follow the program given by physician to cure his disease, he cannot be cured. So Vedic knowledge prescribes how can he stop the problems of life? Simply by atonement, there may be a temporary suppression of difficulty, but they will arise again. So permanent, see, what is the real problems we have? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi. That's the real problems. What is the real problem defined? Nobody wants it. Everybody has to go through it. And there is one more point. In SSR, we see this. Nobody wants it. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi. Nobody, one has to undergo. And there is one more point, I forgot. So that's the thing. That is a real problem.
Nobody wants it, but everybody has to go through it and experience it, I guess, Prabhu.
Yeah. Everybody has to go through it and experience it. Yeah, I'll refer, maybe that's right, Mataji. Yeah, three things. Nobody wants, but nobody wants. Somebody wants disease condition, somebody wants old age, somebody wants to be like always looking like, young.
One is everybody goes through it, so everybody has it. So that everybody is one. And the third, what Mataji said as well. So that's good.
Yeah. One has to go through it. One, nobody wants it. And one is experience. So those are real problems, definition. So simply atonement cannot help us. That's why we have to follow regulative principles given in Vedic literature. Continue, Prabhuji. Yes, Sapan Prabhu.
Sukadeva Goswami says that in material or sinful life, we act in a way in which we are forced to commit sins and suffer as a result. This is so, and if we want to stop this cycle of suffering and victimization, we have to advance in knowledge. Ordinary people or karmis are fruitive actors who work all day and night to get some enjoyable results and then again suffer. Thus, the problems of such karmis are never solved. It is suggested, therefore, that one elevate himself to the platform of knowledge as prescribed in Srimad Bhagavatam. The first necessity is tapasya or acceptance of austerity. If a doctor advises a diabetic patient not to eat but to starve for some days, although no one likes to starve, the patient must voluntarily accept starvation if he wants to be cured. This is tapasya, voluntary acceptance of a miserable condition. The ability to do this is good, and human life is meant for that purpose indeed. Vedic culture prescribes tapasya.
Yeah.
And one can see many tapasvis undergoing austerities in India. In winter, they stand up in water up to their necks and meditate. Standing in water during severe cold is not very comfortable, but they voluntarily do it. In summer, they also ignite fires all around themselves and sit around in midst of the blaze and meditate. These are examples of severe tapasya undertaken by many ascetics in India. Some tapasya is certainly required. Without it, one cannot advance in spiritual life or knowledge. If we simply engage in the animal propensities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, not accepting the tapasya process, human life is a failure. If one wants to become an initiated member of our Krishna consciousness society, we first of all ask him to undergo tapasya. In the Western countries, especially, it is a great tapasya to give up illicit sex life, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. Although we require only these austerities, it is very difficult to observe them. In England, a wealthy aristocrat inquired from a Vaishnava godbrother, Swamiji, can you make me a Brahmana? The Swamiji replied, yes, why not? You just have to observe these four principles: no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, and no meat eating. Impossible, the Britisher replied. Yes, it is impossible, for in Europe or in America, self-indulgence is the way of life from the very beginning. Indian gentlemen often come to the West to learn these indulgences, and they think themselves to be thus advancing. Indians are automatically taught tapasya through their Vedic culture, but they come to America to forget that culture and accept another type of life. The real fact is, however, that if one wants to advance in spiritual understanding and solve all problems of life, must accept this life of tapasya, austerity, and restriction.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is what it is. In order to avoid those problems, we have to undergo tapasya. Otherwise, no chance. Again, we are committing sinful activities every time. And then repeated cycle of birth and death takes place. Why regulative principles are there? We have to situate it in a proper dharma. Human form of life is meant to develop these qualities. Satyam, Saucham, Daya, Karuna. So when we follow four regulative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling, it develops the divine qualities of Satyam, Daya, Saucham, Tapa. So dharma situated on the four legs, right? Now human life is breaking all these forms, breaking all these rules. That's where these are sinful activities. No Satyam, no Daya, no Saucham, no Karuna. Satyam, Daya, Saucham, Tapasya. So tapas is required. Prabhupada writes an example, right? When I used to take a medicine, so this is beautiful statement actually. See, here only, voluntarily accept. See, if a doctor advises, how beautifully explained Srila Prabhupada, see. If a doctor advises a diabetic patient not to eat but to starve for some days, although no one likes to starve, the patient must voluntarily accept starvation if he wants to be cured. This is tapasya. Voluntary acceptance of a miserable condition. So that is good for good thing. When we accept this tapasya, it is for our good only. This is tapasya, voluntary acceptance of a miserable condition. The ability to do this is good, and human life is meant for that purpose. Human life is meant for atato brahma jigyasa. Right? Atato brahma jigyasa. Just a second. Actually, I'm sitting down here. My voice is a little low. So I'm going up. Just 2 minutes, okay? 1 second. Let us continue there. Yeah. So we got the point, right? So here, we need to voluntarily accept tapasya. Otherwise, we cannot come back to it. Human life is meant for atato brahma jigyasa, self-realization. Those questions, if we see so nicely, Prabhupada writes here. One has to go through this. Why I am suffering? Where from have I come? What is my constitutional position? Where shall I go after death? Why am I put into a miserable form of life? Atato Brahma Jigyasa, it's called, to understand. Very beautifully said. Okay, so yeah. Impossible. Yeah, these are the things. We have to properly situate it on the regulated principles. Let us continue from here. Okay. Samyukta Mataji or Ram Reddy Prabhu, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'll read Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Restriction is for human beings, not for animals. We encounter restrictions daily in our common dealings. We cannot drive a car on the left or run a red light without risking apprehension by the law. If a dog, however, walks on the left side of the street or crosses against a red light, it is not punished because it is an animal. The law therefore makes distinctions between human beings and animals because human beings supposedly have advanced consciousness. If we do not follow rules and regulations, we again lapse into animalism. Apparently, propaganda is being made celebrating freedom as opposed to a regulated life. But one who sees things as they are can understand that freedom from all restrictions is animal life. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami recommends tapasya. If we want actual freedom from the problems of life, we have to accept a life of austerity. Bondage to material life is the only other alternative. What is tapasya? What is austerity? The first principle of austerity is brahmacharya, restricted sex life. The real meaning of brahmacharya is complete celibacy, and according to Vedic culture, in the beginning of life, one should strictly follow the rules of brahmacharya. When he is grown up, the brahmachari can marry and become grihastha, and as a grihastha, he can have sex. But in the brahmacharya life, strict celibacy is the rule. In the present age, people have become degraded for want of tapasya because they are not taught how to execute tapasvi life. Criticism for its own sake will not do. One must effectively train in the life of tapasya. Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Go ahead, please read.
In the Vedas, it is said that those who execute a regulated life of tapasya are brahmanas. Etat aksharam gargi vidit vasmal lokat praitisa brahmanaha. Etat aksharam gargi avidit Vasmal Lokat Praiti Sakar Krupanaha. Everyone is dying, for no one can live here permanently. But one who dies after executing a life of tapasya is a Brahmana, and one who dies like a cat or dog without executing tapasya is called a Kripana. These two words are used frequently in Vedic literature. Brahmana and Kripana. Kripana means miser, and Brahmana refers to a liberal, broad-minded person. Brahma Janatiti, Brahmanaha. One who knows the supreme, the absolute truth, is a Brahmana. But one who does not know is an animal. This is the difference between animal and man. Man, to deserve the name, must be educated to understand the absolute truth. Because human life is meant for knowledge, there are schools and colleges, philosophers and scientists and mathematicians. The processes of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending need not be taught, for they are learned instinctively. Human life is obviously meant for more. It is meant for tapasya and knowledge.
Yeah, continue this paragraph also, Mata.
Yes, Prabhuji. There are descriptions in the Vedas of Brahmacharya celibacy which characterize the beginning of a life dedicated to tapasya. Smaranam, Kirtanam, Keli, Prekshanam, Guhya Bhashanam, Sankalpo, Jhaya Vasayas, Cha, Kriya Nirvrittir Evacha. Sridhara 6.1.12. To properly execute celibacy, one should not even think or even talk of sex life. Reading modern literatures and newspapers, which are filled with sexual material, is also against the principles of Brahmacharya. Similarly, indulging in sex in any way, looking at and whispering with girls, and determining or endeavoring to engage in sex life are all against the principles of Brahmacharya. One executes real Brahmacharya when all these activities come to a halt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So these are the qualities specified in this paragraph about the Brahmana and Kripana. Brahmana is a liberal, open-minded, broad-minded person, whereas Kripana means miser, narrow-minded. So this is one of the important verse about tapasya. Etad aksharam gargi vidit pasmal lokad praitisa brahmana. Etad aksharam gargi abhidit vasmal lokad praitisa kripana. So this brahmana kripana differentiation is given in this. So that's where Prabhupada writes, open-minded and narrow-minded things. See, who accepts Krishna consciousness? Open-minded. They have to. So in order to understand some knowledge, one has to submit one authority. Only open-minded person can be able to do that. Narrow-minded person cannot do that because he has his own concocted ideas. That's where many people won't come to the platform of absolute truth. They have their own ideas and they have their own Google guru to refer and do that. They cannot come to the platform of proper teachers, guru disciplic succession, guru disciple, the relationship. No, it's called kripana. Most of the time we see kripana only, narrow-minded people. They cannot, their minds are very closed. They won't open up. So Krishna consciousness, whoever comes to the Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada writes, intelligent person, broad-minded, they are accepting knowledge, which is proper, specified in Vedic literature. So Krishna conscious devotees are the blissful devotees in one way, because of the open-minded to learn these things, to elevate themselves, to purify themselves. That's where, it's very rare to come to the platform of devotional service. Most of the times, if we see in our family, relations, relatives, every people is not like that, narrow, open, narrow-minded. They have their own things. So we need to understand from Vedic literature, see, open-minded and or broad-minded or narrow-minded. Kripana, miserly persons. And this one, because human life is meant for knowledge, that is Atato Brahma Jignasa. The process of eating, sleeping, mating, defending need not be taught. See, if we'll see these four things, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, only materialistic way of life is put in these four categories: eating, sleeping, mating, defending in comfortable way. But tapasya talks about, regulating this. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending also. We have to be in regulation in this. Then only it's possible to understand the proper knowledge of the scriptures, and ultimately that helps us to get rid of this cycle of birth and death. Tapasya, human life is meant for self-realization. Durlabha manusha janma. There is no guarantee. Next life we may get human life, but devotees at least that's guaranteed. In the general term, in the general sense, mass people, no guarantee how the next life is going to be. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says in the 7th canto, Durlabha manusha janma. Very rare to achieve this form of life. We have discrimination power. So that's the thing. This is another important verse from the Sridhara 6.1.2, another scripture, talks about the descriptions in the Vedas of Brahmacharya, celibacy. Smaranam, Kirtanam, Keli, Prekshanam, Guhya Bhashana. Acha, this one talks about the seriousness of Brahmacharya life and their dealings with opposite sex. Smaranam, Kirtanam, Keli, Prekshanam, Guhya Bhashanam, Sankalpo, Dhyaya Vashayascha, Kriya Nivrittir Evacha. So this is Prabhupada mentioned here, indulging in sex anyway, looking at whispering, girl determined. That also talks about against principles of Brahmacharya. So the thinking, right? Thinking, feeling, willing, the consciousness, how we place mind puts into these three activities: thinking, feeling, willing. That also, against principles of Brahmacharya. If a person thinks about, opposite sex like this, Smaranam, Kirtanam, remembering, and, Keli, Prekshanam, Guhya Bhashanam, Sankalpo, Dhyaya Vashascha, Kriya Nirvritta Evacha. There are rules and regulations, that one executes real Brahmacharya when all these activities come to a halt. So Brahmacharya, so that's where we have to have our kids now properly trained to give the values. How these Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and these sannyas ashrams are developed, coming to play as per the Vedic standards, Vedic literature. Yeah. So why we need those? Because see, actually in Grihastha life also, there is a principles of Brahmacharya. Prabhupada writes many times in his purports, sex is, of course, license. We have license to have sex in Grihastha life, but that sex is used only for the purpose of begetting children. Krishna conscious. Prabhupada writes this, for the purpose of having a Krishna conscious children. The soul attracts that body, devotee's body. So many souls. So under the rules, under the Krishna's, Karmana Daiva Netrana, it's Krishna's eyes. So we have to understand, sex is not for recreation or enjoyment, sensual enjoyment. No, sex is only used for procreation. So actually, there are so many teachings on the Grihastha life. Srila Prabhupada given. So in the Grihastha ashram also, Brahmacharya, the concept, the consciousness, Brahmacharya consciousness actually, the consciousness can be there in the Grihastha life. Use it for procreation, not for recreation. Celibacy. Then they see this called everything is a tapasya. So it's not easy to go back to God, right? It's not just like flight ticket but purchase karke jane ka nahi hai. No, that's not the thing. It's a lifetime of effort. Tapasya, Krishna consciousness is a blissfully executable process. If we are in the association with the devotees, regularly attending, regularly hearing, we will slowly get those austerity, tapasya, all those qualities. Naturally come, not forcefully, right? That's where association becomes a lot of difference in spiritual life. Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha hoy, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hoy. How can we get the Sarva Siddhi? Through the association of the devotees, we get the inspiration, we get the right consciousness. Through the right consciousness, we control our senses. through that controlling senses, we get the development, towards Supreme Lord, loving devotional service. So it makes a lot of difference. That's where satsangs are very, very important in spiritual life. No missed out. I'm missing there actually. But somehow or other, Krishna arranged me here so nicely. I am also associating with the devotees. See, wherever we go, that's the beauty of Srila Prabhupada ISKCON institution, right? Wherever we go, our network follows. Wherever we go, our Krishna conscious devotee network follows. Somehow or other, we can get connected with devotees and go to temples, regular association, chanting, hearing, remembering, serving, all things are going on. But somehow I have special personal connection with all of you. I am missing the association there. But somehow I'm in the calls online, virtually, every other day to associate with you all. Thank you so much for your association. At least by your association, little taste, little development in Krishna's service going on. That is needed. So that's where we are talking about the brahmacharya. So that brahmacharya can be applicable in grihastha life also. See, 4 ashramas to elevate, to go back to Godhead. As per the Vedic literature, first 25 years are brahmacharya. Next 25 to 50 years are grihastha life. From 50 to 75 years, vanaprastha life. From 75 onwards, it's sannyasa. These are the state of consciousness. Sannyasa is a state of consciousness. In grihastha life also, one can be like becoming just like sannyasi. What is the meaning of sannyasi, right? Tridandi, right? What is that meaning? Manasa, vacha, karmana. Be in the Krishna consciousness. That's the thing. So let us continue. Pallavi Mataji, would you like to read?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Please read.
By austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and senses, one can advance in pure life. Similarly, advancement can be made through charity properly directed. That is called tyaga, renunciation. If one has $1 million, he should not keep it. But as long as it is within his jurisdiction, he should spend it for Krishna. Money or energy is properly utilized when it is directed to Krishna. As soon as one quits his body, all his monetary resources and everything else that he has collected in connection with his body is finished. For the spirit soul transmigrates to another body, and one does not know where the money which he earned in his previous body is being kept or how it is being spent. A person may leave the world declaring how the money should be spent by his sons or heirs, but even if one leaves millions of dollars in his next life, he has no claim to it. Therefore, as long as it is in one's hand, it's better to spend it for a good purpose. If one spends it for bad purposes, he becomes entangled. But if he spends it for good purposes, he gets good in return. This is very clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita explains that there are 3 kinds of charity in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. A person in the mode of goodness knows where charity should be given. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name veshosti na priya ye bhajanti tu maam bhaktya maite tesu kapyaham.
Yeah,
Chapyaham, sorry. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Krishna is not in want of money, for he is the original proprietor of everything. Ishwasyam idam sarvam. But still he asks us for charity. For example, Krishna, in the guise of Vamana, a dwarf Brahmana, went to beg from Bali Maharaja. Even though he is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, the proprietor of all the planets, he nonetheless says, please give in charity to me. Why? It is for our interest, for the sooner we return Krishna's money to Krishna, the better situated we will be. Of course, this may not be very pleasant to hear, but actually we are all thieves, for we have stolen God's property. If one who has something is not God conscious, it is to be understood that he has stolen God's property. That is the nature of material life. If this is considered thoughtfully, and if one comes to real knowledge, he will realize that if we do not understand God, whose property we are using, whatever we possess is stolen property. It is also stated in Bhagavad Gita that if one does not spend his money for yagna, sacrifice, he is understood to be a thief. Yo bhunte stena evasha. For instance, if one earns a great deal of money but tries to hide it to avoid paying income tax, the government considers him to be a criminal. He cannot say, I have earned this money. Why shall I pay tax to the government? No, he must pay or risk punishment. Similarly, in the higher sense, everything we have is Krishna's or God's, and it must be utilized in accordance with his desires. We may wish to construct a building, but where do we get the stone, wood, and earth that the construction requires? We cannot artificially produce the earth. It is God's property. We cannot produce the metal. We must take it from the mine, which is also God's property. The earth and the bricks which are made from it are also God's. We simply give our labor, but that labor is also God's property. We work with our hands, but they are not our hands, but God's. For when the power to use the hand is withdrawn by God, the hand becomes useless. Shadwala Prabhuji, inka? We should use this. Sorry. We should use this great opportunity, human life, to understand all these points which are mentioned in the authoritative books of Vedic knowledge, like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami declares that real atonement necessitates thoughtfulness, sobriety, and meditation. One must consider whether he is the body or whether he is transcendental to the body, and one must try to know what God is. These ideas are to be studied in Krishna consciousness. We should not be frivolous or waste time. If one wants this knowledge, he has to practice austerity, tapasya, and the beginning of tapasya, as already explained, is brahmacharya, celibacy, or restricted sex life. The pivot of material attraction is sex, not only for human society, but for animal society also. Sparrows and pigeons have sex 300 times daily, although they are strict vegetarians, and the lion, which is not a vegetarian, has sex once a year. Spiritual life is not a question of vegetarianism, but of understanding higher knowledge. When one comes to the platform of elevated knowledge, he naturally becomes a vegetarian. Panditaha sama darshinaha. One who is very highly learned does not distinguish between a learned scholar, a brahmana, an elephant, a dog, and a cow. His samadrishti, his vision, enables him to see them all equally. How is this? He does not see the body, but the soul, the spiritual spark, Brahman. He thinks here is a dog, but it is also a living entity. Although by his past karma, he has become a dog, and this learned scholar is also a living spark, but he has taken good birth because of his past karma. When one comes to that position, he does not see the body, but the spiritual spark, and he does not distinguish between one living entity and another. Actually, we do not make distinctions between carnivores and vegetarians, for the grass has life just as the cow or the lamb. A guideline, however, should be the Vedic instruction given in Ishopanishad.
Let me read, Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Isa ishavashyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat yena tyaktena bhujita magridakasya svidhanam. Read Jenny, translate Janam.
Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself which are set aside as his quota, and one must not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Ishopanishad Mantra 1.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for that paragraph. So, yeah, multiple points quoted by Srila Prabhupada here. One can advance. How can advance in pure spiritual life? This is the answer: by austerity, celibacy, control of the mind and the senses. So these qualities naturally comes to a person's body when he or she chants holy name of Supreme Lord. That is a key. Every day, prescribe it some time. Like, in our ISKCON, Prabhupada set forth, if a person want to take a Diksha from a guru, he or she has to chant 16 rounds of japa every day. That means 2 hours of our time. So this 2 hours of time, how one can come to the stage? Slowly, gradually, from 2 rounds, then 4 rounds, then 6, then 8, then 10, 12, 14, 16, like that. So why again? So when we do chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, all the required qualities, like controlling of the mind, celibacy, austerities will be developed. The focus, the attentiveness, when we put in the holy name, the more, see, 99.9% of spiritual progress depends on our chanting. If we want to conduct our life in pure way, pure life, spiritual life, chanting is the best method. When we do chanting, 3 senses are engaged. How are you chanting? How are you hearing? How are you chanting? How are you hearing? And how our mind is focusing on holy name. 3 activities, 3 senses are engaged. That's where attentiveness, each syllable we have to hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then, so they are austerity. It's austerity actually. The performing japa is an austerity. It's not easy. Mind always defeats us. Right? So many thoughts will come. So many plan-making things comes in the mind. We don't want to indulge in those thoughts. We just have to drag and focus on holy name. That is one of the key to how to develop the attentiveness in hearing of the holy name. So that makes progression. That makes all the wonderful qualities. We get it. Right? That is called Tyaga, renunciation. If one has $1 million, he should not keep it. But as long as it is within his jurisdiction, he should spend it for Krishna. Money or energy is properly placed when it is directed to Krishna. So everything for the pleasure of Supreme Lord, we have to use, we have to utilize. And Ishavashyam, that verse is quoted here, very important verse from the Ishopanishads. Isavashyam idam sarvam yatkinchat jagatyam jagat yena taktvena bhunjita magrida kasyat viddanam. Everything animate, inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. Period. That's it. Animate, inanimate, chara achara, controlled and owned by Krishna. One should therefore accept only things necessary for himself. So that's where this one is there. Simple living and high thinking, we don't want to accumulate so many other things. No, it's a waste of time. Our anxiety will be increased as soon as we have this kind of anchorings. Our anxiety will be increased and our energies also will be lost. That's where Prabhupada many times, simple living and high thinking. We need proper, home. We need proper, job to maintain ourselves. Nice family, kids. We have to take responsibilities. That's it. No indulging, no accumulation. No. That won't help us actually. Devotional life is simple living and high thinking. High thinking for what? High thinking for understanding our position in this material world and work on it and get rid of the real problems. One should therefore accept only things necessary for himself which are set aside is good, and one must not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Since everything belongs to Krishna, we have to accordingly align ourselves on the teachings. Everything is a property of the Supreme Lord. One can only enjoy what is allotted to him by the Lord, and one cannot touch another's property. It is there. So this is another paragraph. Let us read. Another 5 minutes we'll spend and we'll wrap up. Okay. So I just want to share a few things here. Vegetarianism, right? So it's not, spiritual life is not, of course, devotees won't take even onion, garlic, and no meat eating, no mushrooms, etc. So it's in, the spiritual life is not about, vegetarianism. Spiritual life is not a question of vegetarianism, but of understanding higher knowledge. Only vegetarianism, that is a part of spiritual life. What we eat, what our Supreme Lord accepts, that we are eating. So when one comes to the platform of elevated knowledge, he naturally becomes a vegetarian. Pandita Samadarshinaha. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord himself, in the form of devotee, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, is given in 3 instructions. One has to meditate actually every day. Namaruchi, Jivadaya, Vaishnava Seva. Namaruchi, tasting the holy names of the Lord. Namaruchi, we develop the taste to chant the holy names. Namaruchi, Jivadaya, compassionate for all the living entities. This is called Pandita Samadarshina. Namaruchi, Jivadaya, and Vaishnava Seva. Sarva devotees, Sarva Vaishnavas. These three teachings, if we adopt in our life becomes successful. Yes. Samadarshini. Krishna is Samadarshi. Samadarshi means his vision enables him to see all equally. So one thing, here is a dog, but he is also a living entity. Although by his past karma, he has become a dog. And this learned scholar is also a living spark, but he has taken good birth because of his past karma. See, living entities, different living entities, 8,400,000 species of life, because the living entity commits different karma. Accordingly, these different bodies, nothing but different dresses for transmigration from one body to another body to another body, like that, or based on the karma. Yeah. So Prabhupada writes here, see, anybody likes to read this one more time, please? It's very important.
Yeah, I can read, Prabhuji. We should use this great opportunity, human life, to understand all these points which are mentioned in the authoritative books of Vedic knowledge like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami declares that real atonement necessitates thoughtfulness, sobriety, and meditation. Consider whether he is the body or whether he is a transcendental to the body, and one must try to know what God is. These ideas are to be studied in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Prabhuji. And we should not be frivolous or waste time. If one wants this knowledge, he has to practice austerity, tapasya. And the beginning of tapasya is already explained. What is that? I mean, regulation in the first. See, material world is, see, why material world is bandhana? Because of the knot. What is that? Hrudaya Grandhi. So, because basically everything runs in the material world, the propensity to enjoy opposite sex. That's the thing. That's a binding thing. Starts with there. It's a regulative principle. One of the, see, that's where regulative principle. No illicit sex. It's one of the regulative principle. No illicit sex. A lot of meanings there in that. You have to understand. So we'll read 2 more paragraphs and wrap up. Okay. So anybody likes to read? Prabhuji and Mataji? Anybody?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
Since everything is a property of the Supreme Lord, one can only enjoy what is allotted to him by the Lord, and one cannot touch another's property. According to Vedic life and according to all Vedic scriptures, a man should live on fruits and vegetables, for his teeth are made in such a way that these can be very easily eaten and digested. Although it is nature's law that one has to live by eating other living entities, jivo jivasya jivanam, one must use discretion. Fruits, flowers, vegetables, rice, grain, and milk are made for human beings. Milk, for example, is an animal product. The blood of an animal transformed, but the cow delivers more milk than is needed by her calf because milk is intended for man. Man should simply take the milk and let the cows live, and thus, following nature's law, man will be happy. Tena tyaktena bunjita. One should take whatever God allots to him and thus live comfortably. We have to elevate our consciousness through this science of Krishna. Charity is within everyone's heart, but we do not know how to make the best use of it. Whatever we spend in terms of energy should be for Krishna, for it belongs to him. By spending for Krishna, one will not be a loser. Krishna is so kind that when we offer him food, he accepts and yet leaves everything for us to eat. Simply by offering food to Krishna, we can become devotees. We need not spend an extra farthing. In the higher sense, everything belongs to Krishna. But if we offer everything to Krishna, we will be elevated. This is a sublime and proven way for advancement in pure life. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Our chapter also done. 4th chapter. Learning to love. So that's what it is, right? This topic talks about the learning to love. Tapasya, learning to have the tapasya, yeah. Learning to tapasya, learning tapasya, self-control. So that's the thing. So we're done with this chapter also. Last lines. What is saying, Srila Prabhupada? Whatever we spend in terms of energy should be for Krishna. That's why keeping Krishna in the center. Many times we hear, you all hear the same statement. Keeping Krishna in the center and perform our different activities. For it all belongs to him. Think about everything, our body, not our own way we created. It's created by Krishna's energy, material nature. Think about it, how are we using his resources? The air we breathe, the food we eat. Everything comes from him. Everything we are utilizing, everything we are using. But we have to acknowledge and understand. Whatever we spend in terms of energy should be for Krishna, for it all belongs to him. By spending for Krishna, one will not be a loser. Yeah, Krishna is so kind that when we offer him food, he accepts and yet leaves everything for us to eat. Right? Who will eat? Just acknowledging how many people are doing. Simple, just in the plate, put in whatever fruits, whatever cooking items, curries, chapatis, etc., sweets. Put it in front of Krishna and take some prayer, Hare Krishna 3 times, or there are prayers. And who is going to eat everything? We only. This is mercy. Just acknowledging is a matters. We have to acknowledge, yeah, Krishna, all the resources given by you. The fire, the air, the food, the vegetables, etc. Everything. Just an offering with love and devotion. Please accept. Then it becomes prasada. Who will eat? Big, see, we have Chappan Bhog, we have different big festivals. When we see so much prasad, who will taking? Ultimately, we only taking. The acknowledging is matters a lot, and that because we are addressing all the resources are provided by you, Krishna. Please accept. Just an offering. Simply by offering food to Krishna, we can become devotees. We need not spend an extra farthing. In higher sense, everything belongs to Krishna. In higher sense, everything belongs to Krishna. But if we offer everything to Krishna, we will be elevated. This is a sublime and proven way for advancement in pure life. Whatever tan, man, prana, dhan. 4 things there, right? Tan, man, prana, and dhan. Tan, shariram, body. Tan, man, mind. Tan, man, prana, our existence, soul. Tan, man, prana, and dhan. Whatever we accumulated, whatever money. If we use it for Krishna, this is a sublime and proven way for advancement in pure life. Hare Krishna. We are done with this chapter. Thank you so much for the opportunity to have association with you all and learning from Srila Prabhupada books. So nicely explaining, right? Each concepts. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Today is a very auspicious day. We did 2 rounds along with all of us. 2 rounds of japa. If you have time before go to bed, do some extra rounds. Because waxing moon and waning moon, Ekadashi comes in these 2 days. In every 15 days. Waxing and waning moon. So if you have time, please chant more. And I have shared in the group about the Ekadashi glories. If you have time, please go read it. Ekadashi glories. Today is a Bhaimi Ekadashi. So with this, I will conclude here. Anybody have any questions, or let us continue? Let us conclude. Samyukta Mataji, Ramreddy Prabhu, Pallavi Mataji, Sapan Prabhu, Sunil Prabhu. Is that okay?
No question. I've shared the link of the
Let me
YouTube
copy.
that lecture.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's
Prabhu.
nice
Yeah.
one. So
All
yeah,
right.
so that is there.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Okay. Very nice. Thank you for sharing, Prabhu.
Mm.
So he's wonderful, Prabhu. Here in Kalas community, Shri Radha Kalachandra established by
Yeah,
himself.
Radha Kalachandran.
Very nice.
Radha Kalachandran. What? He says
Radha,
that.
Radha Kalachandji. Radha Kalachandji.
Kalachandji.
Means black. Okay.
Yeah.
Kala means black.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Tell me.
And where are you based currently?
Nearby only. Nearby Dallas only. It's located in.
Dallas only. Okay.
It's in. It's the place is called Carrollton. Temple to this place 40 minutes. 40 minutes drive.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Every other Sunday feast. Sometimes every Sunday will be there in temple. Different services. With the devotees I'm going for. Yes. Thank you for sharing this lecture. Yes.
Thank you for your association. You are doing this in the morning and evening. That's a great prosperity.
Great, nahi hai. Okay. Otherwise, my batteries won't be charged, bro.
Yeah, but having that consciousness itself is a big thing.
Yeah, it's all of your mercy. Wonderful devotees mercy. Thank you. Thank you for appreciation, Prabhu. Yes. So we'll conclude. Okay, Samyukta Mataji, Ramreddy Prabhu, Pallavi Mataji, Sapan Prabhu, Sunil Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
మొన్న నేను ఒక పారాగ్రాఫ్ చదువుతుంటే మీరు ఒక టెక్స్ట్ పార్ట్ కాపీ పేస్ట్ చేస్తానన్నారు కదా, కృష్ణ ప్రేయర్ టు కృష్ణ హౌ వాట్ వీ షుడ్ ప్రే అని గుర్తుందా?
అది చేయలేదా ప్రభు?
చేయలేదు, జస్ట్ 4-5 లైన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. అది
నేను చూస్తున్నా, నేను చూసి పంపిస్తా. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ రిమైండింగ్. ఇప్పుడే చూసి నేను పంపిస్తా.
ఓకే ప్రభు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. వాంఛా కల్పతరుభ్యశ్చ కృపా సింధుభ్యో చ పతితానాం పావనేభ్యో వైష్ణవేభ్యో నమో నమః. అనంతకోటి వైష్ణవ వృందకి జయ. శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదికి జయ. శ్రీల గురుదేవ్ కి జయ. జయ గౌర హరి ప్రేమానందే. హరి హరి బోల్. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Have a happy Krishna conscious night. Do some extra rounds and read glories of Ekadashi. By me Ekadashi. Hare Krishna.